All right, it's May 3rd, 2023. It's a Wednesday, and today is Fed Day, Federal Reserve Day. What are they going to do? The markets are anticipating. Are they going to move up a quarter of a point? Raise interest rates? Stop inflation? The drama that's about to unfold. Yeah, they're probably going to raise another quarter of a point so that they can continue to send ripples throughout the banking system to crash banks. Unfortunately, that's the game here. It's consolidation of power. And so if we raise interest rates and kill the smaller banks as much as we can because they're invested in bad things, and cause bank runs, have people pull money out of the bank because the deposits aren't there that you actually put in. See, when you enter the vampire casino and put in some money, your energy for the poker chips, they can manipulate them. And guess what? They're not backed by anything. And so when you go and try and redeem them, at some point, if enough people do that, they say, well, we really don't have anything backing this. We didn't think everybody would come at once, so we kind of gamed it. Sorry, we need to backstop it. And so the Fed's going to have to bail them out. So on the one hand, they're going to raise rates, make money more difficult to get, because that's what raising rates does. You know, you go get a car loan, a home loan, whatever it is, you need credit. You know, fake poker chips that get created out of nothing, it's going to cost you more. We're going to raise rates. Same money, just costs you more to borrow it. But on the other hand, so you put a pinch on people trying to pay bills. You know, you need to extract more money out of the system. You need more money into the system to service that debt. So on the other hand, you've got banks that are crashing, and then the Fed creates money to bail it out. So they're trying to stop inflation and stop, you know, the price of things going up. On the other hand, pumping more money into the system. Cognitive dissonance, or destruction by design, however you want to look at it. So they're probably going to raise rates, you know, so today's a good day for a cigar, I guess. You know, I'm going to play banker today and, you know, sit around in a room and make a decision that affects, you know, millions, billions of people's lives. Just, yeah, you know, flip of a switch, as Bix says. Bix Weir. Flip of a switch, you know, that's all it is. Computer programs, that's all they are. And they're just at a macro level controlling the monetary system. That's really all they do. The problem is you're paid in that money. You're paid in these vampire chips. And, you know, they can be manipulated. And that's why the price of everything goes up. The reason why we've got inflation right now is because trillions were created during this pandemic thing that was rolled out. And we don't hear a lot about that anymore. I think some people might need to go to jail, you know, after a fair trial, of course, for that whole thing. But I see how people are backing away from that whole situation. We never told you had to. No, it was using the guidance that we had at the time, knowing full well patents were involved and already in place to roll out all these pricks in the arm. Emergency use authorization so that they can be rolled out with any kind of formal testing, which usually takes years, so we don't know the ramifications of when you put this stuff inside you. What's it going to do to a human being? What's it going to do to a child? What's it going to do to a pregnant mom? Yes, a mom, pregnant woman. What's it going to do? Dogs over here playing, making noise, finding things to entertain themselves. They look at me because they scared themselves, knocking things around. Anyway, dogs that way, dog this way. Dogs everywhere. Every dog has its day. So you've got this situation now where they're kind of stuck. And they know there's a no-win situation because they've created all this money that's flowed through the system and caused the price of everything to go up. So you had monetary inflation where they inflated the money supply. Now all that money is going into goods and services, and we have price inflation. So the price of these things goes up because you've got money upswelling and having to go somewhere, and it's gone somewhere. And so it pumps the price of things. And now they're trying to stop that. Well, problem is, if you stop that, then the debts that are out there can't be serviced, especially if you're raising rates. It makes it harder and harder to service the debts. So you need more money to come into the system. And so that's your boom and bust cycle. They'll create a bunch of money, put it out there and say, oh, we created too much money. Oh my gosh, we need to withdraw it. Okay, now you can't pay your loans, lose your house, lose your farm, lose your car, lose everything that's, you know, now costing you more money, and there's less money in the system and you can't make any more money, you know, or you can, but you struggle to do it. Well, then you get taxed on it. And if you're a billionaire now, Bernie Sanders says anybody that's got over $1 billion or 999 million, the government just needs to take it. It's basically a tax. We've got a cap. All right, and so when you have hyperinflation and $1 billion is worth, you know, $1,000, so you basically have nothing. But that's the insanity of government. You got to let the free market decide what the price of things are, and then it will work itself out. An example of that that's happening right now, I saw that there is the Biden administration, you know, whoever's running it, not the puppet, you know, up there on stage, who can't find his mark and where to stand. We've got the proposal that, hey, we should tax all Bitcoin mining and probably crypto mining 30% more for electricity. Now, what's that going to do? The free market's going to figure that out. So if you're a miner, you're going to say, all right, can I absorb this? Or do I start moving my operations somewhere else like El Salvador or somewhere that's more crypto friendly? So it doesn't matter what the US taxes it. Another country is going to say, come on down, come on over. We'll give you incentives to come in, as they understand that that's going to be a capital infusion. That's going to help. That's going to bring people in. You look at El Salvador and how it's changed. You want to be where sound money is, and when you're a country that embraces sound money, you're going to attract sound capital and sound investments, and you're going to grow. But if you're a country that tries to tax your citizens and taxes innovation, you're going to fail. I mean, you're going to be full Roman Empire. You're just going to tax yourself into oblivion, and you're going to crumble at the edges, and that's what you're seeing right now with the United States empire. Let's just call it an empire. That's what it is. The Western Empire. You're seeing it crumble. Every day there's a country saying we're not going to use dollars anymore. We're exiting that vampire casino because we've been vampired. Our energy's been stolen from us. So fine, we'll use something else. We'll trade in cigars. We'll trade in oil. We'll trade in gold. We'll trade in Bitcoin. We'll trade in something else. And that's what they're doing. So you're kind of at the end game here where it's just a snake eating its tail. And there's really no way out. There really isn't. Don't mean to be the forebearer of doom and gloom, but there's really no way out for the US dollar. And it's a Federal Reserve note. It's not a true dollar based on silver, constitutional dollar like it should be. And that's why we're in the situation we're in now. Gotten too far away from what sound money is. But you can try and stop it, but it's so big. It's like trying to turn around an aircraft carrier. Turn around the Titanic. How do you do it? It just takes so long to do that. Unless you're making every right step along the way, it's not going to happen. You're going to continue to drift and hit that iceberg. And that's kind of where we're at. But you do have lifeboats. You do have ways out of it. Cryptocurrency is a way out. Gold, silver is a way out, I think. These are my opinions. Cigars are a way out. And I've seen cigar prices go up. I've seen alcohol prices go up. Things that people are going to want, and people are going to seek these things out in boom or bust cycles. If they're happy, they're going to have a cigar and whiskey. If they're depressed, they're going to have a cigar and whiskey. They're just going to cheap it down and get cheaper ones. But they're going to do it because that's just human nature. They want escapism. You want some peace and enjoyment and something that brings you a little bit of pleasure to escape the reality of the situation. And so boom times, bust times, those things are always going to do well. You got to put your money, your energy, what you work for into something that's going to preserve value. And I use the example many times in classes that Litecoin Lisa and I do. And this is an important thing to understand. We used to have sound money. Sound money in our coins, our quarters, our dimes, our half dollars in 1964 and before. We had 90% silver. They were made of 90% silver. Now, they took those out in 1965. Phased some of it back, but 65 is when they started taking it out. All right, so if you had 5 quarters in 1964, it was $1.25, $1.25. But if you'd kept those 5 quarters because they were 90% silver, that silver's held its value over time. Those 5 quarters are worth over $20 total today. And minimum wage in 1964 was $1.25. So you could have taken $1.25 and gotten paid in all quarters, 90% silver, saved them, and they would have retained their purchasing power over time. Are we looking at 60 years almost? And now it's $20. And what's the minimum wage now? Really, it's kind of getting to be where it's $20 because a lot of people aren't going to work for $13. That's what it is in Illinois, minimum wage, $13 an hour. Other states it's lower, but people are like, I ain't going to work for that. Not for what my bills I have to pay and this and that. $13 just ain't enough. I can work full time, drive a car, pay the insurance, put the fuel in, spend my time doing it, and you're like, forget it. I'm just going to go do something else. I'll go do, mow lawn for cash or something. And, people just decide, no, it's not worth it to me. And so right now, $20 an hour would be a decent wage, and that's what it was in 1964. Same 5 quarters, $1.25. Purchasing power today is over 20 bucks. $20 an hour, people would work for that. So that's the kind of situation you're in. You got to realize, how am I going to preserve my energy over time? Your work, your energy, your labor. How are you going to do that? And so you got to find things that are going to, over time, not just 5 minutes from now, PAYCHECK, go up, price go down. No, you need to look at things that are going to hold value. This cigar, this happens to be a first one I've ever had. It's by Drew Estate. It's Tabak, T-A-B-A-K, Tabak. I don't know how to say it. I'm just some guy in the middle of the cornfields here, breathing glyphosate, getting sick. So, still recovering from that incident, the last, few days. Feeling better, though. It's just run its course. But this cigar, Tabak, I got a really good deal on a box of them. They're like on, stupid closeout deal. Box of 10 of them. And they're big gauge, like 6x60s. Might be 7x60, 6.5x60. But anyway, it's a coffee flavored. And I'm not as big on the infused cigars. Drew Estate's a company that's really big on that. They make a line of acid cigars, it's called, and I'm not sure what the acronym is, but there are a lot of botanicals and herbs and flavors infused in the cigar. This one is one of the coffee flavored cigars. Now, my favorite brand, Olliv, they make some coffee flavored cigars. The Nub Nuance, I think they call it, and it's got like a single, double roast, triple roast, different flavors, and they're pretty good. It's just, I can only take so much of it, and that's what this one is. It tastes like a cappuccino. It's like smoking a cappuccino. It's good flavor and mild, and if you're not a cigar smoker, it's probably something people would enjoy. But this cigar, there's a certain amount of work that goes into it. You got to grow the tobacco leaves, you got to hang them, age them, roll them, they got to be perfectly, and it's not something that it's easy to do. So it's going to hold its value to people who value it. And it's something that if you have them, it's always the cigar. It's always a cigar that you can take out and you can enjoy and you can smoke. It's just like, a bottle of whiskey is always a bottle of whiskey. It might cost you $10 today, it might cost you $30 tomorrow. But if you have it, it's something that holds value and accomplishes the goal. Bullets. Ammunition, you look at that, there's a cost of production. You need materials, you need metal to go into it. And if you store it correctly, it's not going to go bad. You can always use it. It has a use case. And over time, just like those silver quarters, they're going to hold that value. And if you look at the price of ammunition over the past 10 years, definitely held its value. But the price went way up. Well, it's because it's held its value in the midst of inflation, in the midst of monetary inflation. It holds value. Food holds its value. Other things aren't going to hold value. So Federal Reserve notes, they don't hold their value because you need more and more and more and more of them to buy this, to buy the ammunition, to buy the food, to buy the things you need. It's important to realize the time that we are in historically and find those things that you can hold in your possession that are going to maintain value. An item that's going to hold on to a use case that's going to be able to be used in the future and not get devalued through the monetary excesses that we see in this fall of the Roman Empire that we're in, fall of the Western civilization. And so seek those things out, find those things. There may be different things for you. I just used a few examples. I mean, those are things that you can hold in your possession. And the example of the quarters, it proves it right there. Those things held value because they had silver in them. So you want to be looking for those types of things that are going to hold value over time, because you may wake up one day and you might not be able to buy a gallon of gas for under 10 bucks. You're like, what the frick, man? How am I going to do this? It's over doubled, tripled in some cases. How am I supposed to afford this? I don't make enough of these fake notes, these dollars, to be able to pay for this and sustain what I do. I can't go to work. It doesn't make sense for me to go to work anymore. And you may be in that situation, so you better have things that are going to get you through that transition period, because it doesn't last forever. I mean, economic collapses don't last forever, but the key is getting through it and surviving through it and not losing. And if you can just maintain parity, you know, and maintain your current lifestyle through one of these periods, you're doing well. Most people aren't. They're not going to make it. You know, they're going to be eating out of garbage cans, unfortunately. So put yourself in a position now, while you still can, to try and prevent those situations. There is, since we are going digital, you know, there are digital assets that you can get into. That's why I talk about Litecoin a lot. There's Bitcoin. You know, there's all kinds of digital assets. It's just I talk about the ones that I have confidence in that are going to last. I look at Litecoin specifically because I look at it as being undervalued in dollar terms and serving a purpose, a use case that Bitcoin cannot do. You know, it costs a lot of money to transact in Bitcoin. And if you get to a point where, listen, I need to get some stuff, you want to have a coin that's going to be used on every platform. And that gets me to what I was using. I opened up an account on Olliv, OLLIV. And it's a new exchange. It's here in Illinois. It's through the people who run the CoinFlip ATMs. And I've always liked them because you can take cash and you can get your crypto right away, and there's many locations where you can do that. Well, they've got a new exchange that I tested out. I downloaded the app, and it's actually in a wallet that's a custodial wallet where you write down your seed phrase. You've got the coins. You're not on a platform like Coinbase to where when you buy the crypto, because you can buy the crypto right out of that, and I did just as a test case. I bought one Litecoin, and boom, it was right there in my wallet. I could transfer it out, and it's in a custodial wallet, my custody. I should say a non-custodial wallet. That's what some people call it, non-custodian. You know, you are the custodian. You own it. You own the keys. And so I got it right in my possession. It's just like going to the CoinFlip ATM and putting it in cash, but you need a debit card, which you need a bank account for a debit card, to purchase it directly. And so it was a nice transaction. I mean, it's something, check it out. I mean, I'm not sponsored by it. I'm just talking about things that, I'm not sponsored by Litecoin either. As much as people might think, well, the Litecoin Foundation pays you. I've never gotten anything from the Litecoin Foundation. And you know what? I'm glad. I don't want anything from anybody. I just want to tell you my experience and what the truth is, because you got to be able to survive and you got to have the tools to survive. And so that's what I'm constantly doing. I'm looking at different things like, okay, this works. This is something that I can speak to, you know, and so this is just another example. Gateways in and out of crypto are going to be important because the government is really clamping down on this stuff. So you got to look at different ways. I just tested out a Coinbase card. A lot of people don't like Coinbase, but you can put crypto in there and you can choose to spend your Litecoin, Bitcoin, whatever it is, with a debit card. And so if you ever are in a pinch and you need money, you know, and you don't have any in the dirty fiat vampire casino, but you got crypto, that's one way that you can get assets using other assets. You know, and it's good to have those things ready to go, that you can use those things, because crypto's money. That's the Satoshi white paper, if you've ever read it. It's a peer-to-peer electronic currency. If we can get to that point where we can do it peer-to-peer, that's absolutely awesome. We're outside the system, but until then, there are transitional tools that we need to be able to use so that we can, you know, bridge that gap between the old vampire system and the new system to where we are in control of the money, not the banking system. So it's important to find those things. Olliv, I do have a link below. I think you'll get $10 in Bitcoin when you make your first transaction. Sign up with that link below. It's a referral link. I don't know if I get anything out of it. I honestly don't. I may. I haven't really looked at it. I just know I got the referral link early and I just put it out there and linked it. So I may get $5 in Bitcoin or something. I really don't know. But you can click on it and you can sign up yourself, or go to just olliv.com, OLLIV.com. I think it is, but I do have a link below. Use that, and you know, that may be supporting, you know, my message and what I do. I don't know, might not get anything for it, but it's just the fact if I can bring another tool to somebody, that's enough, you know, so that you can make a good decision and use it and see if it's something that works for you. Then that's just one more way that you can utilize your energy in the way that you want to utilize it and transfer value, you know, in another way for you. There are other ways to do that. There are other platforms that you can look into. CashApp, you can buy Bitcoin right on that. You can transfer it out in your own wallet. Fold app is another one where you can buy Bitcoin, transfer that out in your own wallet. It just makes it easy to acquire these things because it is so difficult, getting more difficult because of the government trying to clamp things down. Just like the 30% tax on Bitcoin mining they're proposing. you got to realize that they're going to try and survive. They're a dying animal, and they're going to do everything they can to stop the threat that takes away their power. And that is, the power is the ability to create money out of nothing. And if that is circumvented and you don't have to play in that casino anymore, you can use something like cryptocurrency that runs on its own network, that no government can intervene in, no government can stop, no government, no central bank can stop, and you're operating independently on a decentralized network, then that's what threatens them. And you just gotta realize that. And so you make a decision, is really what it comes down to. And we are certainly at that point where we need to make a decision. I mean, the absurdity that's going on, we've got a border that's wide open, and they want us to believe that, oh, hey, we're going to send 1,500 active duty military personnel down there to stop the flow of people coming, what is it, May 11th or May 12th, Proposition 42 ends, and there's supposed to be this flood of people coming into the United States. We're going to send the military down there. What are they going to do? You know, hold hands and create a chain and say, hey, nobody gets to come past. I mean, you're going to shoot people? What are you going to do? See, the absurdity and the minimal cost that it takes to just build a wall and continue a wall. And people are like, oh, that's terrible to build a wall. Well, no. I mean, you got locks on your doors in your house. People put fences around their yard. There's a reason for that. You know, especially out here. I go out at night, and last night, coyotes everywhere. You can hear them howling. Dogs barking in the distance. I mean, I got a little dog, you know, and what if I had chickens here? And it's happened before. Chickens, you know, coyotes come eat them. And so you got to keep those things at bay. You got to protect what you have from an onslaught. And you look at how the Roman Empire fell and the hordes advancing, and it basically just got overrun. You couldn't stop it anymore. It got pillaged and used up. And that's kind of the same thing we have now. And for a minimal cost, I mean, the money that we've sent to Ukraine, probably $200 billion we've sent there now, what's it cost? Not even a tenth of that to finish a wall across the border, to where we can maintain at least a flow of control and say, all right, we're gonna do this the right way. Instead of just, you know, hey, unfettered, just come on in. And it doesn't make sense. And I think most people understand that it doesn't make sense, and it would be a very easy thing to do. But instead, you're going to put people in harm's way, make them make a bad decision possibly, and kill somebody when they don't want to. It's a no-brainer. Avoid that problem and control it at the source so that you can make a better decision as far as, okay, you need to come in, you're a refugee, you're this and that, you can process people correctly. Didn't we used to do that in the past when we had immigration over 100 years ago? I mean, why aren't we doing that now? It just makes sense. But they don't want it to make sense. They've got all the money created out of nothing, can build any wall they want, multiple walls, layered, it doesn't matter. That's not the game that they're playing. Both sides want to perpetuate just this ongoing bickering. We're going to raise the debt ceiling by June 1st. We're going to be out of money. And it's all a sham. It's all an illusion. And when you finally say, I'm done with the illusion, I'm sick and tired of just, you know, participating in the game, you realize you've got tools to exit the game. And you just go ahead and do it. You exit that vampire casino. You've got forms of money, places where you can put your energy, assets, economic tools that you now can use. Didn't have a lot of them before, we have them now. You've got the ability to do that. And you can just say, forget it. I'm not gonna play the game anymore. I'm not gonna participate anymore. I'm walking away from it. Or you can go full France, get in the street, and, you know, go that route, which will probably happen. But who wants to do that? Because then that gives rise to all the passions, and a dictator comes along and whips up the masses, and people get killed, and that's just not a good way to fix problems. So hopefully we don't get to that point. If we all just say, hey, enough is enough, I'm unplugging, I'm opting out of the system, then, you know, that's what we do. We've got the tools to do that now. All right, enough of a ramble. I'm surprised this hasn't gone out. It's actually stayed lit pretty well, but it's getting a little weak. So I should probably wrap this up. That's just what I've got for a Wednesday. I don't know if it's wisdom, but it is Westwood, and it is Wednesday. Ultimately, it comes down to, you got to see what's going on, understand, you know, take the passion out of it, take the emotion out of it, and just look at what is happening and what is being done to you, what is being done to your wealth, your labor, your energy, and how it's being robbed from you, and realize it is a vampire casino. It is stealing your energy, just like a vampire does. In a lot of cases, it's literal, not just figurative. So just think of that, know that, and realize you don't have to play the game. You know it's wrong, you don't like it, you don't want to play anymore, then don't. Trust yourself, exit the casino, start putting your energy into other things. All right, hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Love you all, and don't let this stuff stress you out. Start making changes, step by step, you're going to change your life. But if you sit back and just complain and watch the screen and think that there's nothing you can do, then you're right. There's nothing you can do. You got to start taking action. All right. Love you all. Have a wonderful Wednesday. But you got to trust yourselves. You got to trust yourselves.